I scaled my consulting offer from 0 to 200 grand in the last 6 months, and also collecting 10 grand in one single day with this exact ecosystem. So whether you're a coach, a consultant, or an agency owner, this works whether you're one of the three. And so I'll be explaining the exact ecosystem I implemented that you can implement so you can achieve such results. So without further ado, I'll just get straight into it. Now, the ecosystem is divided by an inbound system and an outbound system. So two systems. I'll start with the outbound system. Now, before you start outreaching and spamming messages to potential clients, you really need to invest at least 1 to 2 hours of your time into finding your ICP, your ideal customer profile. Okay. Now, most people think they figure it out, they know who their ICP is, and I can guarantee you that most of the time you don't, unless you handle tens of thousands of clients, which is not the case because probably you wouldn't be on this video, right? So the best way to find your ICP and the quickest way to find your ICP is in two ways. You doing the manual work, or also using AI, right? Now, I'd go for the manual work if you already have some, if you already have some testimonials or have had some kind of, clients in the past. And what you do is just open, Google Doc or just get a clean sheet of paper and analyze all your past clients' characteristics. What are the characteristics you need to filter out? It's how much you've asked, was it good to work with them, how easy was it to satisfy them, and how much effort have you put in. Now, once you've understood that, and also touching a little bit of other characteristics, so their sex, their age, their interests, once you have that figured out, you need to find the client or the clients that it was easier to satisfy. You asked as much as you possibly could have, and also the effort on your end was the least. Okay, so once you understand what are these clients, you now know who you need to outreach to. Okay. And then you can also filter it by niche and by demographics. And another thing I'd like to touch up on top of that is, niching down. Some agency owners or some consultants have different niches, and it's just easier to niche down and find your niche. Now, if you're starting from scratch, it would be good to go for 2 to 3 niches so that you know which niche would be the best. And once you're good at that niche, you just go all in on that one, right? And then the other thing is you want to filter it by demographics. You want to choose demographics in places around the world where their economy in that, in that country is growing. So like United States, UK, UAE, so Dubai, you get the point, right? You wouldn't go for people that are in Africa, India, or like in third world countries where the economy is actually going down, okay? Obviously the economy I'm referring to is the online business economy, okay? So like the buying into your offer kind of thing, okay? So the other way you can do it is using a ChatGPT prompt. I have 12 prompts already done. I'll just show them to you pretty quickly. These are just copy paste prompts you put into your ChatGPT in your whatever AI. If you're using DeepSeek or ChatGPT, doesn't really matter, and it just gives you every weaknesses, past solutions, objections, potential objections, desired outcomes, every single thing, okay, your ICP has, and then you just have this in a Google Doc, right? So you know who you need to outreach to. And also this is helpful because you also know what type of objections they could present once you're on a sales call, and also whether you want to delegate your outbound, you just pass this file to whoever is in charge of your outreach, right? Because the other thing you want to avoid is that your VA or your appointment setup doesn't know who you need to outreach to, and have this written down does really help a lot. Okay, and then the other thing you need to do is either redefine or create an offer, whether you're starting from scratch or you already have an offer, which is like the best thing. Someone's starting complete from scratch, it's kind of harder to kick in and break through the 10K month ceiling. Whilst if you already have a couple of clients, redefine your offer is just going to be easy. And how would you redefine your offer? You just use the IHTO offer, which is irresistible high ticket offer. So you'd ask 3 to 8K up front, okay? And then you need to have some sort of bonuses. Now, bonuses are perceived in two ways. Now, the first way is they just increase the perceived value of your offer from the counterpart, and from your end, they're perceived as money savers and also time savers. Why do I say that? Because if you add some playbooks, ebooks, files, videos, course material, and anything like that, you just save your time. But on their end, they just feel like for what you're asking, for your coaching or agency or whatever, plus having all of this material, just the value is perceived much higher, right? Then the other thing you need to have is a risk reversal or a time guarantee. I'll make a couple of examples. Now, risk reversal is I get you to X outcome. If I don't, Y happens. Okay, so X could be money wise, could be appointment wise, could be booked meetings. Why it has to be something accountable and trackable. So let me make an example. I will book you 30-minute meetings in 90 days. If I don't, I'll work for free, or I'll extend the contract of an extra 90 days so that you get 30 qualified meetings. Make an example. Money wise, that could be I can get you an extra 10K a month in 90 days guaranteed. If I don't, I'll work another 90 days for free so that you have your 10K guaranteed added to your cash flow, right? Or a time guarantee. So having both would be even best, which is what I just said. So having like the risk reversal. So I do this, if I don't, X happens. And also having the time factor, that helps a lot. And also this is based on the 100 million offer, which is Alex Hormozzi's book. So having this type of offer this type of guarantee will give you so many favors. So if you're an agency owner, you could say, I'll add an extra 10 grand in the next 90 days. If I don't, I'll work for free until I do so. So you also get your money back. Or you can just say, I'll work until you get your money back. If you don't get your money back, I'll just work for free until you get your money back. Those are pretty easy guarantees to just make your potential client more safe and more open to investing in your offer, right? That out of the way, what are the social medias or the platforms you want to be using in 2025 to get as much traffic into your offer? Now, I use Instagram, LinkedIn, and X, all three together, and they have been working like clockwork. So as for Instagram, you have a 350 week limit. So you can do 30 outreaches a day plus interaction. What does that mean? So basically just interacting with the profile. So just liking their stories, replying to the story, or commenting, and then outreaching to the client. Same go to potential clients, sorry. And also same goes for LinkedIn and X. So when you can send a connection on LinkedIn, you also want to interact with the potential client as well. Same goes for X, right? Now, this as a result is 80 outreaches a day, 5 times a week, from Monday till Friday. Now, to do this kind of thing, it's like a lot of work and it's like a lot of hours. So how can you either delegate or automate this process? I'll be getting to that in just a second. Now, as of the results, you can, kind of the numbers you can expect from, doing outreach as of now. These are kind of the numbers I've been doing and some of my clients have been doing. So this is what you can expect. And also that kind of falls on whether you have a lot of experience, whether you have an aged account on all three platforms. And also, if you're starting completely from scratch, you're never going to be getting these numbers, but still you're going to be getting some, right? So that would amount to 400 outreaches a week. Now, to be very pessimistic, having a 1 to 3% book rate, that is 4 to 12 calls per week. That is a pessimistic and kind of optimistic kind of view. And then as in a month kind of scenario, you'd be looking to 16 to 48 calls. Now, most people have a very low close rate and are not very good with sales. So worst case scenario, you close 10% of them. That's 1 to 4 high ticket clients, right? Now, how can you reduce your effort and leverage time? You can use AI tools like GPII for X, Phantom Busters, that's like the complete finding the leads and sending connections, and also using AI to write messages to send connections as well. And also following up is all completely automated. I found Ulink, which is like an invite-only software. So if you're interested in Ulink, I can give you access to that. Which is just a little bit more manual work when setting it up. It's not as easy as setting up Phantom Busters, but it works very, very well. And does kind of the same thing as Phantom Busters does, so it's pretty good. As for Instagram, I've used Parser AI, Auto IGDM, and Robo DMs. I'll be creating separate videos on how to set these up, and by the time you're probably watching this video, they'll probably be up already anyway. Now, one very good thing I'd consider investing into is a VA, an appointment setter. Now do bear in mind that investing money into one of these AI tools or a VA is kind of ultimately going to the cost wise is going to be the same. Like a VA, you can get a good VA for 300 to 400 USD. As for the AI tools, if you have a LinkedIn automation tool, an X automation tool, an Instagram automation tool, you're probably spending 300 to 400 USD, right? Now, as of VAs, the best way to find them is via Online Jobs PH, which is a Philippines, you know, talent kind of sourcing platform, and it's like, you know, kind of a digital, in a digital kind of space. So VAs, outreach specialists, growth specialists, whatever, you know, kind of in that area, it's literally full of these people, and they just can't wait to start working with you. I've had one. I have, you know, currently I have my own VA, and he's been working amazingly. He gives me end of day reports, which are amazing. And also, you know, we're booking an average of 1 to 3 calls per day, qualified calls per day. So I definitely would invest into a VA. Also, as I said, I'll be also creating a separate video explaining how to hire a VA, how to handle a VA, etc., 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 so that, you know how to, make the best out of having a VA within your team, right? Also, bear in mind, most of the VAs you can hire, you can also hire them for free or have some sort of agreement, like they get a cut or a fee if they get any clients in. I found that those type of VAs are not the best quality VAs. And then the other thing you can kind of agree with a VA is getting them paid by the end of the month. So if they get a client in, you just give them, the client's money at the end of the month. So if you don't have money to invest in the VA, just give it at the end of the month, because you're just going to give you a client anyway, right? You get the point. So the other thing you want to understand is that you can duplicate this structure and duplicate the outcome. What does that mean? In my case, I have 2 LinkedIn profiles and 2 Instagram profiles. I just have one X account because you don't need to, because the limit is much higher. The reason I say you can duplicate these structures because the limits from these social media platforms are very strict. So it's not very easy to scale, but you can get, you can double just the outcome by having dual accounts per platform. Now, as for LinkedIn, you can't have a 2.0 version of yourself because you need to send documents. So what I did, which is kind of goes against LinkedIn's policies, is buy an account. I bought it from a friend of mine. So if you have anyone in your network that has a LinkedIn account but isn't using it, you can just find an agreement and say, look, I'll use your LinkedIn account. If I close clients, I'll give you a little fee. Is that all right? You won't be doing anything. It's just passive income, right? Most people would say yes, right? So as for Instagram, you just create a new Instagram account. You can call it whatever you want. It could be 2, 3, 5 version of yourself on Instagram. They don't really care. As for LinkedIn, they do, right? So the other thing you want to be implementing is the inbound system, okay? Now, having both together is like the best possible thing you ever possibly have. And now I'll also explain what tools and what, AI prompts you can use to generate ideas and just content scripts and everything, so that the effort on your end is as minute as possible. Now, the type of content you want to be posting on which platform is Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, X. I'd live out X only if you're a consultant in a very specific niche, or an agency in a very specific niche. So like some coaches don't even want to hop on X. It's not because they don't want to, it's just because it just doesn't, they don't have their ICP on X. So you really want to use the kind of, this goes for also the outbound system. If your ICP isn't on X, just don't use X. I found that most ICPs rely on Instagram and LinkedIn. This goes for basically any niche, and also sometimes Facebook. So I'd post on these platforms. Now, as of Instagram and YouTube, the topics have to be problems, frustrations, and solutions, and your story, wins, losses, and just overall experience, your journey, right? So as of the topics, you're already going to be having some topics and some problems and frustration and solutions given from the file, the GPT prompt file. So you already know what the problems are, their weaknesses, and their desired outcomes. So you can make content revolving around those topics already pre-built. So you just create a new GPT, just creating the content based on the ideas that you already have, because the other prompts are already generated for you. And also, as for that as well, I do have a couple of prompts you can have already pre-built. Just send me a message and I'll send it over. So just copy paste what I just showed you and just get those content ideas like literally within seconds. Okay. Now, the frequency within you want to post on Instagram and YouTube is completely fine with twice a week. I probably would also, I'd agree with those who say you need to be more posting more actively on Instagram. I do that as well. But when you're starting out, just don't go full in. on both, just trying to find out what your format is, and then double down on what your format, the format that's performing well, just double down on that one. And as for LinkedIn X, basically the same thing. Topics, problems, frustration, and solutions within your ICP, and then just share your story, your wins, your losses, and your experience and your journey. Even if you're starting from scratch, you can just talk about your journey. Doesn't really matter, right? As long as you're keeping the flow going, and also as long as the people that have and just get into your profile have something to consume, and make it related to their problems, and make it related to their frustrations and whatever. You just get the point, right? The frequency within you need to post on LinkedIn X is once a day. If you don't find X useful, just use LinkedIn. And the format you can use is just a selfie. So you do a selfie of yourself plus a banner with like the headline, so the hook of your post, and then the whole copy right after on LinkedIn. Just provide value. The one thing you want to keep you understand on how LinkedIn's algorithm works is that you need to be 50% professional and 50% personal, and also give value using like a story, like as if you were trying to tell a story. So use like storytelling in LinkedIn's copy, because that is ultimately the best way to boost your post's engagement, right? So try to tell a story. Within that story, you need to be a little bit personal, a little bit professional. That's where the algorithm really pumps your posts. And also you wanna just use storytell as like your copy's tone of voice, because that's where most of the posts that go well, I've noticed that went well for me or for my clients, is when you use like a storytelling tone of voice. Okay. As of Instagram and YouTube, forget about highly saturated, super edited videos. Nobody cares. If I have to be completely transparent, I've found most of my clients that were posting unedited and raw videos go much better than the clients that had highly saturated and edited videos. So do not even think about, oh, I need to hire an editor. You don't need to. You can just do everything raw as long as it's clean. Just have some captions and just make it clean, as in the whole video is presented in a good filter, right? That's it. Now, once you have that as well, you need to be absolutely consistent with this. And also, to write LinkedIn posts down, it can take you up to 30 minutes a day. It takes me 15 minutes a day, and I use AI, and I'll get into that in just a second. And same goes for Instagram and YouTube. I just take one day out of the week to create as much content for Instagram and YouTube as possible, and then just post it. So for me, it's effortless and just gets me results and clients. And also bear in mind that the results I've made in these 6 months was also by posting very, very little, due to the fact I wasn't in the best health conditions. But that is completely fine, because still, if you're pretty good and you have a pretty optimized profile within all platforms, you can get to these results very, very quickly. And also, I'm an experienced salesman, so it's pretty easy for me to close people. So this is just to point out the fact that it's the potential you have is very, very high, regardless if you post a lot or post little. Trying to be consistent anyway, that just gives you so many favors. Now, the results of this is going to be 1 to 10 inbound leads every single week. But the way you can reduce and leverage your time to have all of this done is you can use repurpose.io to post this on every single platform, or Plannable as well, and then use the prompts I just shared in a couple of minutes back, and just ask them to me, come back to me, and I'll just send it over, so that you can have a couple of ideas pre-built, and also the copy for those ideas pre-built as well. Okay, so as I said, you can use my ChatGPT's prompt to generate hundreds of thousands of content ideas for all platforms. Okay, now this will boost your engagement and target to your funnel, and will get you 1 to 10 plus inbound leads per week. They're not going to be qualified at the beginning. That is completely fine. But later on the line, in 2-3 months coming, from now, you'll probably look back and say, "Wow, I'm grateful for posting consistently till now, because now I get so many qualified inbound leads." And then you have a proper content marketing machine, just printing out conversations on conversations on conversation, which will give you so many favors. Okay, now all of this will amount to a potential outcome, which is 200k, which is where I'm at. Okay, now, as I said in the beginning of this video, I'm just showcasing the system, so the strategy. As for the actual automations, the tools and everything, I need to do that separately. Otherwise, it's going to be like a 3-hour long video, right? And nobody has 3 hours to invest in all in one video. So I'll be separating all of these videos so you can watch them one at a time and condense all the information and then apply them within your coaching offer, consulting offer, or agency. Okay, so that is for that. This is all for this video. And if you need any help with implementing automations, acquisition systems, or whatever that is, if you're trying to break your 5 to 10K a month ceiling within your coaching, consulting, or agency offer, give me a shout and we can talk through how I can help you implement this exact system within your business. Okay, that is all for this video, and I'll be seeing you in the next videos with explaining the automations, how to find VAs, how to use the prompts, how to use repurpose.io or plannable.io, whatever that may be, so that you can literally reduce your effort and be very consistent and scale all of this system and get to these results. That's all from me, and catch you in the next video.